Hello, fellow learners. This is the part 3 of our Java tutorial series with Flourish with Academy. And in this tutorial, we're going to be looking at variables and data types. All right, so what is a variable? From the word varies, something that changed, right? But in programming, it's a container where we store data, but the data in the container can change. All right, and we have different types of data types too in Java that Java supports. The most popular one that we have the string data type, we have the integer, we also have the float data type, we have the character, and then we have the Boolean. So let's start with a string. Um, so what is a string data type? So string data type actually stores text. So when you're trying to store a data that's text-based, it's advised that you use the string. Okay, and then for integer, it stores integer or it stores whole number. Now it doesn't matter if it is a negative number or positive number, as long as it is whole number, integer stores whole number. And then float is actually stores decimal numbers. So any points, any decimal number, that's what float is used for. While character is used to store a single character. Okay, it's more or less like string in some programming languages, but in Java, there's a difference between a character and a string. Okay, a character is just a single character, while a string is an array of character. Yeah, let me put it that way. While Boolean, which is the last one, Boolean is a true or false statement. It's a conditional statement. It's used for conditional statement. It's a true or false. Okay, so so those are the data type that we have. So let's quickly look at how to declare variables in Java. So to declare variable in Java, the syntax goes to us. You have the type, the data type that I've mentioned, data type, and then you have the variable name, and then it has to be equals to maybe the value or whatever you want to put in there, and you close um, you close the statement. So this is the syntax. So I'm going to comment it out. Syntax for declaring a variable. Okay. All right. So this is a syntax for declaring a variable. So now let's quickly use an example. So let's say, for example, I want to store my age, for example. So my age is an is an integer, right? Because it's not a text. I'm either 19 or 17 or 12 years old or 7 years old, but I cannot be 19.9 years old. There's literally nothing like that. Okay, so it's a whole number. So you call it int. That's how you call it. Space. Now the variable name in this case will be age, right? And then you say equals to now the value. How old are you? How old are you? Well, let's say I'm 30, and then you close it. So I have successfully declared a variable of type age of the value 13. This is how to declare a variable. This is a good example of declaring a variable. Mind you, what I'm doing right here is called commenting in Java. Okay, so you can see it looks like the same way you comment in JavaScript. Yeah. So the next one would be so let's use another integer declaration. I'm going to say int. Now in this case, maybe probably I want um to store the day num or the day or day num, right? Pardon my name, the name. So what I mean is, what day are we? It could be the seventh day, but you cannot be on the 7.5 day of the month, right? So you can say day 7, and then you understand. So let's do another one. Int, we'll say month num. Yeah, okay. So between 1 to 12, you pick. Okay, let's say we're month 10. All right. And then we're on day 20. Yeah, exactly. This is okay. So these are examples of how to declare an integer. Okay, let's say year 2, int year num. Now, it's going to be, let's say, 2023. We cannot have a year that says 2023.5. So all of these belongs to integer declaration. All right. So the next one would be example 2. Now, do you notice what I'm doing? Now, whatever I'm doing is actually, in between the main function so far, because that's what would execute our code, right? So let's continue with that. So the next one I said would be the string. Now, the string is like this. I'm starting with a capital letter, and there's a reason why I'm starting with a capital letter. I will explain that for later, but let's just skip that for now. So I'm saying string. In this case, I want to say my name equals to easy. I can say Mike, and then I close the bracket. Remember, this is the type, the string. This is the name of the variable that I store in it, and this is the value inside the variable called Mike. So look at variable as a container, like I said, where I kept Mike. So the container is named name, and then I kept Mike. So let me show you the visual illustration of this, so maybe you understand better what I am explaining. So I'm going to open my paint. Sorry about that. I just like breaking it down. If this is too slow for you, you can speed up the. So what I've done right here is just to say, okay, I've created a container, and the container is called name, right? And then I put in Mike in the container. Easy peasy. So the name of the container is name, and then inside the container, I have stored Mike in it. So this is the illustration of what I've done here. You see? And then the data type is string. All right, so let's go again. I want to declare another string, and this time around, I want to declare the month, the name of months, and then will be equals to, now this case is October. You see that? So whatever you're doing in text, make sure you surround it with a quotation mark. It's called a string literals. You put it in the quotation mark, showing that this is a string. Okay, now let me confuse you a little bit. When I say string, and then I say num string, and then I say quotation mark, and then I put 10 in it. Now the question is this a string or not? All right, welcome back. If you said yes, you're correct. If you said no, you're also correct, but technically, programming wise, it is correct, because no matter, even if it is a number, as long as it is surrounded with a quotation mark, this quotation mark, it becomes a string. Please take note of that. All right, so that's for string. And the next one, example 3, we're going to be looking at we're going to be looking at the float. Now this is for decimal number. So in case of we'll say float, let's say CGPA. I love that so much, and because your CGPA is also in decimal, is either you have 4.0 or you have 3.5, you have something. So that's it right there. That's float CGPA. Yeah, exactly. And then let's call another float. I could say average, and we can be 100.6, and then close it. So something like that. This is how to declare floats. Part now is character. So character, you can say grade. You can use grade for that, or you can say math grade. So we don't mix it up. Math grade, and then equals to the This is surrounded with a single quotation mark because a, and then you close it. And then the last one would be the boolean, which is just true or false. Example 5. So you could just say available. Are you available? True or false? Say true. Yes, I'm available. So it's as simple as that. Say unavailable. Unavailable. That would be false. So whenever I call if unavailable, that is if false, don't do anything. Don't worry, we're going to get there. Let's not um, make it look too serious. I forgot to do something and nobody's actually calling me back for that. Brilliant. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry about that. All right, so let's quickly play around with something. Let's print out something from our variable. So to print out from a variable, it's quite different from when you're printing out a normal string literal. Okay, so to print out from variable, you just print the variable name. So let's say, for example, I want to print unavailable. For example, I'm going to say system dot out dot print line, and then I'm going to say unavailable. So when I'm pressing, it's already telling me, oh, you want to print out a variable unavailable. All right, so you don't have to surround this with quotation mark. Okay, you don't have to, because it is a variable already. It takes in the value and output it. So now let's check it out. So when I click on run, now you see that false will be printed as the next. You can see we have false right here. It picks whatever is in the variable and then output it. It is different when you're printing a variable. You don't have to surround it with quotation mark. If you're doing this, then you're not calling the variable. You're calling the string literal unavailable. If I run this right now, can you make a guess of what the output will be? It's going to be, take a pause. It's going to be unavailable because it is literally saying it as unavailable. That's why it's called string literal. Okay. But if you wanted to see what is inside the variable, you take away the quotation mark. Okay. There's no need for me to keep typing and to just copy and paste. Yeah, so that's it right there. You can see, and then if I take this out, it becomes different. Okay, so when I save it and then run it, now you're gonna have unavailable and then false, because the one is seen as a literal, the other one is seen as a variable. Can you see? They're two different things. I hope you understand how to output the content in your variable, and I hope you still remember how to declare a variable. So in this video we talked about how to declare a variable, and then we talked about how to output the values in your variable. Now let's do something else. I'm going to output name, or yeah, name. And then I save it and I run it. It is going to give me my name, Mike. You can see. So it's bringing out whatsoever is in that variable. So it's a way of assessing the value. All right. So this is all I have to say about variables. And now let's move into the data types and details. So in data types, did you notice something about these ones right here? You can see we have integer, the color is changing, so that means there's something special about these guys. They are the same color, but when I declare string, it was just white. But does that mean string is not a variable? It is, because I just called in name now, and then it brought out Mike. So that means it stored Mike in name, and when I called it right here, I was able to get it. I hope I'm not too fast. Please, if you want me to come back, you want me to explain something better to you, you can use the comment section below. But please do not forget to subscribe. This is why I'm here. I'm here to help. Okay. Now, the reason is because these guys are primitive data types. They're primitive data types. So we have 8 primitive data types, and I'm going to be listing them right there. And then we also have the reference data types. So data types that are object-like. So the data type that are object-like is the string. We have a lot of them, but for now, I want you to take the string. Okay. All right, so you can see it's already saying that right here. The explanation is right here. The string class represents a character string. All string literals in Java programming, ABC, surrounded with a quotation mark, are implemented as an instance. That's a word of a class. Now, when you're talking in programming and they're saying instance of class, we're referring to objects. So this string is seen as an object. It's an object variable and not a primitive variable. I hope you're clear. Okay, so strings are constants. Their value cannot change after they are created. String buffer supports mutable strings. Can you see? We're going to get there as time goes on. I earlier mentioned that variables changes, but not for referential variable. Okay, but now let's look at integer, and then you see the explanation. I think this actually would help. Okay, so this is a primitive data type. Well, the reason why there's no explanation, I guess, is because these are the basic data type, the primitive data types. So we have 8 types of them, 8 primitive data type. I'm going to be mentioning them. 8 primitive data types in Java, and then the first one would be bytes. So you can, go ahead and do your search on that. I've done the major ones. We have shorts. 3, we have int. 4, we have long. 5, we have float. 6, we have double. 7, we have the boolean. And then the last but not the least, you want to make a guess of that? Drum rolls, everybody. You want to make a guess? I think we have mentioned it before. It's character. It's car. Yeah. So the difference between all of these is actually the size, and then they are used for different purposes. You know, the size majorly is the difference. So let's say, for example, byte, short, int, and then long. All these are used to represent whole numbers. Okay. Well, let me give you for whole numbers. Whole numbers. It's just to manage the space actually. If you're storing small numbers, then you can just use bytes, because the size of byte is just 1 byte. Okay, so you can use a very short number. Let's say you're declaring a short number. For example, I just declared something short right there. Let's see if I call it byte, and I try to run this code right here, and I say system.out age, and I save my work. Would it give me an error? Let's see. So it's a way of you representing. You can see it still gave me 13. I was able to easily access bytes too. But when you're dealing with bigger numbers, so bytes can take, maybe I should give you more details about that. So bytes can take numbers from -128 to 127. So as long as you're declaring between this range, you can call it byte instead of saying integer. Instead of creating a variable of integer that will just only store a few number. It's a way of managing your memory in Java. Okay, so that's the first one. Now, another whole number in the whole number section is shorts. Yeah. Now for short, that's also for, it's just the size. Okay, but now the ranges is from -32 726 or 768 to 32 7 67. They have sizes. You can just, do your research on that. I don't have to be calling all of this. So all of these bytes, short, and long are used to representing whole numbers. Okay, and then these ones are used. Floats, double are used to represent fraction, like decimal numbers, while boolean is used for representing conditional statement, and then character is used for representing letters. Okay, so the first one, whole numbers. Second one, decimal numbers. The third one, conditionals. That's true or false. True or false. And then the last one is what? Letters. The purpose of talking about this primitive data type is so that you can understand how to minimize the use of your space. Okay, so instead, next time if you want to declare age, you can call it byte, which is not bad. You can also call this one to byte, which is not bad. You can also call this one to byte, which is not bad. But can you call this one byte? 2023. Looking at what we have right there. 2023 is beyond that range, so you cannot call it byte. But now let's see if we call it byte. Let's see what happens. Byte. Now it's showing you a true line. There's an error, but let's run it and see. It's gonna give you an error. The space is not enough. That's the error. Hey, you sure you want to store this guy right there with this data type? You see, incompatible type, possible losing conversion of int to byte. Already on line what? 14. It's not seeing any error in these ones. The reason is because these ones are properly because of the numbers. But it is for this one based on that. So, but when we change it to integer, it fits into it. And then you save it. And then you run it. Now, this would not give you any error anymore. And everything runs fine. I hope this is easy. All right. So in the next video, we're going to be looking at solving problems using variables. I'm going to be coming up with different problems, and we're going to be looking at that together. So I'll see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with a friend. Have a blessed day. Bye.